No. Okay. Let's see. Take your mute and maybe my mute. Let me check something here. My mute is not on. Let's see. Let me check. I'm not hearing you, but I am seeing.
I had to push a couple of buttons.
There you go. I'm hearing you now. How's that?
Yeah. So let me turn my phone sideways.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That looks like that'll work. Did you get this off of email or did you get this off of text?
You know, I buzzed into you, so I don't know, but I did press on your text, not through email.
Okay. So what I'll do when I send you an invite for the interview is I'll send it on text.
Okay. Well, now look at this light, Alan. This is like a little ring light. I'll take a picture of it when we hang up. I got it at Ollie's for like $12. It's on a ring light on a stand, and you can hook your phone into it. Can you see a light difference? I can't. It's too bright out here. It's hard for me to see the screen.
Okay. Turn it off. Turn it on. Yeah, there's a little difference, but because you have such a bright sunny day, it's negligible.
Okay.
But if you were in the shade.
Is this acceptable though?
Yeah, if you were in the shade, it would make a huge difference.
Oh, well, I'm in the shade. Lord, I'd be boiling out here. You know what I can do though? I can put I can hang I've got a couple of black, they're not sheets, but they're like big tablecloths. I can hang up here because this is where all the direct light's coming in.
No, it looks
actually in the shade. I'm not in direct sunlight.
Yeah, well, it looks fine. This'll work good.
Yay! Okay.
So do you want to do Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday's fine. Now, how long do you think the chat will last?
I want to do about an hour with you.
Okay.
And I'll send you some money. But also,
you'll do what with money?
I'll send you a donation also.
Oh my gosh! I thought you said you'll save me some money.
No, I'll do a donation. But
Thank you.
I've got to do a PayPal dance. So what I wanted to talk to you about now, basically, since we know everything's working, is what would you like to talk about?
So if our end goal is, what's the end goal of what are you going to do with the chat? Are you going to send it out to potential donors or what?
Yeah, well, basically, the Wisdom Archive is 9 departments. And the first department is tracking, because the skill of tracking covers every human endeavor. It's about eating, it's about cooking, it's about animals, it's about animal relations. And it takes in, tracking is like the great umbrella for every basic human skill. So the way I see falconry and horses and dogs is they all come into the hunting equation. Mm-hmm. And tracking
I'd love to talk about falconry. Yeah, golly.
Yeah. And so I'd like to, so you're coming in under the tracking category, under falconry or under animals or under your experiences. And the way I'm envisioning this right now is first you talk about how you got into it. Okay. And then you talk about what
that would be the rehab part of it, because I became a rehabber before I became a falconer.
Yeah. And so, and also, you know, like when you were a kid, did you want to do it, or what happened to you, or who hit you in the head, or did you fall out of a tree after fauna, hit your head on the closet bar and eat some garlic, whatever happens. Okay. I'm interested in what, you know, Hubbard in Scientology, he said something really interesting to his students. He said, I don't care what you've done. I want to know what's been done to you.
And while you're at it, write me a check, because we want all your money. And you know, that asshole was out doing the Babylon workings in the Nevada desert right around the time the 1947 crash in Roswell happened.
I know, and that's going to bring up another
Oh,
aspect.
I remember you had mentioned something on Facebook, and I chimed in and mentioned that he was out with Alan Parsons.
You did, and that's sort of our second conversation, and that's with you as a conspiracy researcher.
I can't talk about political stuff though because of my nonprofit, not the nonprofit status. Well, got a little bit because question 9 on the form asks you if your organization has tried to affect political legislation. So that's where you can get into trouble as a nonprofit. But the more important part of it is that because I have state and federal special purpose migratory bird permits.
Yeah.
I can't. I walk a really fine line. Like I can't or endorse any commercial ventures, you know.
I get that. All right. Well, anyway, what we can do is we can stay to task, but I kind of want you to leak a little in there because I want people to see that you're a multifaceted person.
Okay. But you know, this if I voice my opinions, here's something else I've learned. Because if the end game is for us to accrue donations from this, then if the donor's a liberal, and if I say anything that may be in support of that last person we had, it'll go right out the window.
I understand. So we want to think in those terms.
Okay.
I want to spread your reputation. I want people to get to know who you are and where you are, and
Did
that
you
you're.
shave your head?
What?
Did you shave your head?
No, I just don't have much on top.
Well, I can't see very well out here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, let's plan for Thursday, and 1 o'clock my time is 2 o'clock your time. I think I'm 1 hour behind you in Central.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'll say Monteen at 1 my time.
Okay.
At 1 p.m. And so basically I'm envisioning an hour and about a half hour on how you got there, and about a half hour on what you do and what that's about, and send the money to.
You know, it's so weird. I don't know if I ever told you before, but talk about a circuitous route, how I got here, because my background is in surgical nursing. I work in surgery.
Yeah.
And when I was interning, you know, they put you in with all these different disciplines to run the tray and communicate with the surgeon. And there's a lot to know. And it's a very, very high stress job, you know. But I was recruited. Here's the thing, Alan. If I had gone with another discipline besides plastic surgery, this probably would never have taken place. But because I very quickly became kind of disillusioned with plastic surgery, not because of the like breast reconstruction after mastectomy or removing melanomas and doing hand surgery and all this wonderful reconstructive stuff. We were also dealing on the psychiatry end of all the body dysmorphia. This was 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And women have been fucked up since Christ left Chicago.
Yeah.
So this is not, I don't know if I can say that on because then I'll piss off all the female donors that have had plastic surgery. You know, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But I just got so disillusioned with all the crazy women coming in to get this done and that done. Ladies wanting their 4th facelift to preserve their marriage. You know, women have, when we reach a certain age, if we can afford it, we just get a facelift. Men, they get a divorce and they get 2 20-year-olds. You know, they'll trade their 60-year-old wife in for 3 20-year-olds. You know, that's kind of how it goes. But so he spent a lot of his time counseling people, you know, and so I just stopped by my vet's office. You know, I didn't know him because, you know, Steve and I hadn't been there very long.
Yeah.
And this was back before anybody was certified. Nobody went to school for veterinary technology back then. So
Right.
they were happy as a clam to have somebody to work in surgery that knew aseptic technique and surgical procedure and stuff like that. So, yeah, but they were happy to have me. And then I didn't know, because why would I, that he also had a wildlife rehabilitation permit.
Okay.
So
All right. That
so
was your caveat. That was your link in.
that was it. And this was years ago when the zoo, back before Terry Maples came and fixed it all up. So some zookeeper spirited this owl out of the zoo Atlanta and got it over to Dr. McLaren because it wasn't acting right. And they put it in one of those top crates. Well, literally, we're eyeball to eyeball. I call it nose to beak. And those big, bright moon pie eyes. I mean, it floored me. I thought, my God, this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. And I didn't know how at the time, but I knew that they were going to be a part of my life. So he, you know, I'd help him with surgery and I'd help him with aftercare and stuff like that. And then back then, to get your permit, there was no test. You mentored with somebody for 2 years. It was a perfect situation because I got paid to learn. I was an employee, you know, I was doing all my own stuff.
Yeah.
So, it was just kind of a crazy way of being where I am now 40 years later. It's just, and my veterinarian is still practicing.
Okay. And that's what you're describing to me is the hinge of what got you there.
Yep.
That's the hinge. That's the primary fulcrum. That's what got you.
That's why I keep thinking that, God, because I really, really liked orthopedic surgery because that's immediate gratification. You pin those legs, pin those bones together, screw some screws in, and boom, they're whole again.
I get it.
And I really like the blood aspect of it because, you know, I'm a crazy vampire person. And this one surgeon, I can't remember his name, but he said he didn't consider his orthopedic procedure a success unless the patient needed a transfusion. Yeah.
Well, what that
tells very
me,
bloody surgery.
But that tells me he was very thorough.
Absolutely, yeah.
He was not in a hurry.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I did amputations with him and stuff like that. And as a matter of fact, I thought about him today because I euthanized Cotton, the eagle owl. And I haven't told anybody except you and my friend Hal and one other person up in Wisconsin. But he got really, really mean and hurt me bad. 5 weeks ago, I mean, he grabbed me and and see, I've been going through this for about a year with him. He just became more and more aggressive. I couldn't turn my back on him. He sliced me across the back of the neck. This was back in, it was still warm. So it was probably September, October. I'd gone in and he waits until I turn around. I turned around to latch the door. He hits me. You never hear him hit you. And if he had come at me while I was facing him, he would have cut my throat. I mean, and I got pictures of it. So I've got proof that he sliced me right at the hairline. And I'd been working with him and I almost had him sold to someone in Tennessee, but she ran into money trouble. And I was very, very upfront. I said, look, this guy, because since I tore my rotator cuff, I haven't been working with him.
Yeah.
And with these big birds, you can't let them get lazy because they're very ornery. They kill yearling antelope. It's like, you know, he's not a fluffy kitty cat.
Right.
So anyway, she had some money trouble come up and I just thought, okay. So, but my friend Hal called me today. He said, I want a foot, because he asked me what I did with Cotton. I said, he's sleeping in the freezer. I said, I was not. I said, he said, what about the lady in Tennessee? I said, well, she ran into some money trouble and I wasn't going to give him away. I said, at least this way I can pluck this motherfucker like a Christmas goose and make decorations out of him and try to recoup a little bit of my money. Now I make flat fans. I'll send you a picture of my flat fans. He said, and I said smudge wands and earrings and stuff like that. He said, how much for a foot smudge wand? And I thought he was kidding. And I wrote back, I said, $500 and a happy ending. But then I started thinking about, see, when you amputate a wound, you cut the skin way more superior to where you're going to cut the bone.
Right.
Because you have to rearticulate the skin over the nub, over the stump. So I was thinking, he was serious, and I'm like, shit, Hal, I've never never done a foot before. I'd have to think about it.
Okay.
Well, anyway, so I thought about that surgeon just today. I was like, now how would he cut off an owl's foot and attach it to the end of basically it's a wooden kitchen spoon?
Yeah, or like a shaman's wand of some kind.
Yeah. I used to make wands out of Scully's purchase.
Yeah.
Because it was just infused with all this wonderful owl energy. But and I have a screech owl, but it's not the same. He hates me. He came to me as an adult, and he's crippled, he can't fly. And so yeah. See, honestly, Alan, my heart's kind of not in it anymore for education since Sam died.
I can believe that.
I'm still in mourning. I can't really talk about him.
How long has it been?
September 15th. I guess about a year and a half then.
Okay.
This September 15th will be 2 years.
Wow. I can't believe it's been 2 years already. Yep.
Yeah. And it's, he was just the beginning and the end for me. He was my first education bird and my last one, original that died.
So you
the alpha and the omega.
So you would you consider doing it with another bird, or is that you consider that?
Well, God, I want so much to get all the migratory birds out of my life and get out from under the federal possession rules. They're out of my life in the falconry rule, so I could technically, legally, I could, and I'll have to be careful kicking the table while
Yeah.
I could legally get a great horned owl and put him on my falconry permit.
Oh, really?
I could get a red tail and put him on my falconry permit.
Interesting.
So I may exercise them constitutional rights.
Yeah. Well, it's about.
Do I need to like wash my hair and stuff?
Well, it's up to you.
I mean, so yeah. Anyway, hey, I've done lots of interviews, but none outside of my house with a telephone.
Well, I'm just thinking. It sounds like you're kind of coming into a new stage of activity.
Well, and I would like to replace my migratory birds as they age out with exotics, but that costs money. The spectacled, the exotics are the owls that aren't native. They're not under MBTA, under the Migratory Bird Protection Act. So they're the exotics from across the pond down in Mexico. There's a one that's from Mexico that's called a spectacled owl, and they call him that because he looks like he's wearing glasses.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. $10,000 now.
Wow.
6,000. See, I still have my auger buzzard. She was sick. She was born in 1997. right around this time in 1997. So whatever that math is, 26 years. So I still have her, but there's some Indian guy in Oklahoma that breeds auger buzzards, $6,000. So we're
Oh,
talking thousands of dollars
no,
to
I
order
get it.
and if I had the money, I'd do it just to get out from under the feds.
Mhm.
And I can use, like, say, for instance, with Fiona, I used her in the Steven Spielberg movie, the TV series he rebooted, Amazing Stories. Remember that when we
Yeah,
were kids?
yeah.
Because there's only like 4 years difference between me and you.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who, but he uses the same bumper music. It's really, really cool. And it's on Apple TV. But she ended up on the cutting room floor. But anyway, I was able to use her, made a shit ton of money, froze my ass off in an ancient pecan grove down in Griffin, Georgia, in the middle of the night. But that's okay. And then she did a music video with August Alsina.
Wow.
Made a shit ton of money doing that.
Wow.
So yeah, but you can't do that with migratory birds.
Okay. All right. So that's something I wanted you to talk about when we do the professional quote interview is how you have to tiptoe around all the federal regulations. Because a lot of people don't understand how complex it has become because it used to be much simpler.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I want you to address that.
Yeah. For example, as recently as 2005, which now is 17 years ago, we had 44 permittees at the federal level, state and federal level in Georgia for raptors. And then in 2005, they changed some regulations. They made us start paying for the privilege of volunteering our services. It's $5 a year. It wouldn't cover the toilet paper budget for Region 7. I mean, it's ridiculous. And it pissed a lot of people off. But the other thing they did was a biggie, because there's 3 caging phases when you're rehabilitating raptors: confined, then a little bit bigger, and then, working them, reconditioning them, through, getting their circulation going, getting their muscles tightened up again. They changed that 3rd caging phase to 16 feet tall, 20 feet wide, 100 feet long. That's a 10-story building laying on its side.
It is.
And I don't have one of those. And how I was able to circumvent that particular regulation is because as a falconer, I came into rehabbing with a skill set. I know how to creance fly, and it's not brain surgery. It's a tall perch, a long line, in a big field. So you've got to know how to put the jesses, the jesses and the bracelets and the leash, and you tie it to a little small, lightweight weight. And essentially what you do is you're chasing the bird around a big field to recondition it. So, okay, so when I found out, let's see, it went from 44 to 17 overnight, just like that. And I thought, holy shit. So I called the feds because I was willing to go around, hold little workshops, get people in touch with their local welder so he could do a rebar 6-foot perch. And, just teach people how to do it. It's not brain surgery. I mean, hell, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And they said, well, we can't stop you from doing it, but it won't affect their permit status. So that told me right there, that's their backdoor attempt at culling as many permittees as they possibly can. Now there's like 6 of us in the entire state of Georgia.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the end game?
Well, that's a good question. If there weren't any permittees anymore, then they wouldn't have a job. But, they work for the Fed, so they'd be sent somewhere laterally anyway. You can't, you'd have to slit a baby's throat on the steps of the Capitol to get fired from a federal position. I mean, it's more, once you get a federal job, you're in it for life.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just they make it as difficult as possible. And, but at least they got out of the falconry part of it.
Okay. I get that.
And but now the Department of Agriculture, now they want to get in on the action. So I've been working through Georgia Department of Natural Resources, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for 40 years. complying with all their regulations on housing, you know, husbandry, stuff like that. But
Oh,
that's not good enough anymore. Now here comes the Department of Agriculture. So I think their job, you know, the conspiracy
yeah.
theorist in me thinks that they've been infiltrated at the highest level by PETA, because PETA, I don't think they want us to have animals in captivity anymore.
What do they want? What do they want?
They don't want us to have animals anymore. I mean, PETA causes so much trouble with all the good intentions that they can come up with. But, you know, like they broke into a mink factory, let all the mink go. They were all killed, you know.
Well,
They thought they were doing the minks a favor by releasing them into the wild.
it just sounds to me like they really don't know what they're doing, but for some reason they can be used as a political battle axe.
It kind of sounds like it, sort of like using BLM.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I think more and more people, you don't hear much about BLM anymore.
No, you don't. That's kind of falling out of the way.
If you research the three ladies, the three co-founders of BLM, they're fucking witches, and the bad kind.
Yeah.
I mean, you can pull up YouTube now and pull up their public. It's kind of, it's not voodoo, because it's not Haiti. It's some African thing that they do.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, so yeah, they're and they're cultural Marxists. You can also get her on tape being interviewed. She's a cultural Marxist. They want to destroy the patriarchy. See, they took the original mission statement down, but you can find it on the Wayback Machine, because once something's on the internet, it's there forever. Thank you, Jesus. Because you can look this stuff up and call people out for it. So they wanted to destroy the patriarchy. They wanted to basically castrate every man child that comes out of the womb. They're all lesbians. They hate men. It's like, so I think it's part of the depopulation agenda. I don't know. I think everything is moving towards a higher depopulation agenda in that regard.
Right.
And you'll notice nobody was arrested when they burned cities for going on 4 years.
Well, this goes on our conspiracy show. This is I think there needs to be, you need to have your own show called Monteen Raises Hell. And that's just where you let people fucking have it.
I'll be the maven of ranting and raving. I just made that up.
That's good.
Hey, did you see a Facebook post the other day? Not the dream I had, but it was after I woke up from the dream that it just went through my mind that there's not going to be any more young musician wannabes selling their soul to the devil, because with all the roundabouts we have now, all the crossroads are going to be gone. So I'm laying in bed, and I just crack myself up laying in the bed. I'm like, God, that's brilliant.
Yeah, they have to do another kind of ritual. They have to do a new ritual. It won't be at the crossroads anymore. It'll be on the merry-go-round.
Oh, my friend Andy, you know, he and I went to school together. He's a musician, and he wrote the I went down to the roundabout, fell down on my knees. Oh my God.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
you can't swing a dead cat now without hitting a roundabout. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's definitely going on. Definitely going on. All right. Oh, well, I think we're prepped then.
Okay. Hey, is there any way to edit this in case I go off on a tangent? You can kind of resurrect me, or no? We're just
yeah. Tom can get in there and edit.
I don't want to make any more work for you. I'll just try to be good.
Try to be good, but obviously, if we have to, I can always say to Tom, "Can you chop this out?" I don't know what his editing flexibility is, but basically, we do the Zoom, and he gets it, and he puts in a listing on my website of interviews.
Okay.
And they just click on it and listen to the interviews. And later, these interviews will go off of my quote martial arts guy, yoga guy website, and they will go on to the Wisdom Archive.
Okay.
But I'm still developing the website for the Wisdom Archive, but I'm doing the interviews because people who are interested in the archive want to see who's involved.
Sure. Now,
So
who's this Tom person?
Tom is my friend in Marietta. I've known him since college.
Oh, is that the liberal guy that spouted off to me that I blocked one day?
No, he won't be liberal.
Oh,
Tom,
okay.
Tom is the guy who he used to walk into grocery stores and calculate the number of ceiling tiles to get the square footage. And then he would walk down the aisles and see how many rows deep the product was. And then he would look at the employee roster in the back, and he could calculate the turnover and maximum profit of that grocery store. And then he would sell that to the competition.
Wow.
And he ended up being a feasibility analyst for people like McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts. And he would just go park at a street corner and count the cars and look at the traffic and then speculate possible sales.
That is incredible. He reminds me of that. I love that Russell Crowe movie, A Beautiful Mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to say that your friend's schizophrenic, but
he's not.
I mean,
but
it just takes a particular kind of brain to function in that capacity.
He's got that, and he's also a gardener. He has a huge garden. He grows all sorts of stuff. He cans his own tomatoes. He's a busy organic gardener. And then he gets in his car and he does this speculative work, and then he comes back home and gets in his garden.
Well, that's what keeps him grounded, with all this spatial stuff he's got going on in his head that just kind of probably sends him out into the universe. That, getting your hands dirty it's the whole thing about earthing.
I know.
Grounded.
I call him my master of common sense, because whenever I'd go out on a limb, he'd say, "Well, now wait a minute, Pittman. Never underestimate incompetence." Whenever I'd spin off on a conspiracy theory, he'd say, "Well, they might just be stupid." And so he would always ground me with balancing my opinions off with always calculate for stupidity and incompetence.
I used to have a bumper sticker, never underestimate the stupidity of a large crowd.
Yeah.
And I posted on Facebook the other day, are we in a climate crisis or a stupid crisis?
Yeah. And the last thing Tom said to me was, "Pittman, all that crazy conspiracy stuff you used to talk about 10 years ago?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, it all fucking turned out to be true."
Yep, it's all true. Just and these days, so used to you had to give it 10 years. These days you give it 6 months and you're proven right. There's my Bob.
Yeah.
Come on, Bob.
That's it. All right. I'll plan on seeing you Thursday. I'll scram and get some lunch.
All right, sounds good. Wait, Bob's got to say hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob. He's good looking. I got a couple of cats here, but they're not within grab reach.
I'm always within grab reach. I love my booby. All right, well, then I will see you at 2:00, and just do the text thing.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, I guess you have to hang up.
Yeah, I hang up.
All right, bye.
Bye.